Bhargavi Joshi's series of monochromatic photographs, aptly called Printed Violation, reflects autocracies women face the world over. It initiated a discussion on taboo topics and drew admiration for its artistic depiction. It got published in about 7 international publications and a lot more newspapers worldwide. It is a pleasure to have Bhargavi Joshi with us today, a totally beat-seller photographer. Welcome, Bhargavi.
Thanks, Tejaswini. Thanks for having me and making me feel a little important today.
Bhargavi, since your series is monochromatic, what made you choose white paint?
Well, first I decided to paint them to sort of shift the focus from their physical traits and their ethnicities to the fact that they are women. And then the color white is generally associated with purity, something that women in many cultures are forced to identify with and live by. And I also sort of made them look like delicate porcelain figures to sort of symbolize how our patriarchal society regards the female sex as delicate and weak.
Give us a background about this series. How did this series come into being?
Oh, that is a long story. So I got to a point in my life where I was just not happy with the things I saw in the photography industry. And I was frustrated. I didn't want to do any of those commercial or the editorials anymore. And I just sat myself down one evening at 7 p.m. to sort of just make a list of things that matter to me, like why I am doing photography or just things and causes that I care about and the things I care about. And 2 things constantly kept coming up in those lists. One was women's issues and animal rights. So I drew up all these concepts that came to me literally in that 12-hour period, 7 p.m. to I think 7 a.m. I just sat and I wrote. And I picked this one thinking it would be the easiest to sort of execute. It wasn't. It wasn't at all the easiest, but I thought it was. It took me a year to execute. But it was a good one to start with because it sort of covered a whole bunch of issues in one series. So that's what I sort of went with.
All your effort and your passion does come across when one looks at those pictures. The first thing I noticed when I looked at that series was, of course, the white paint and the black paint and the ribbon. So yeah. How is that juxtaposed? What is the...
So the black paint and ribbon was supposed to represent how the cultures that used to hold women hostage to those purity standards completely disregard the pain and the suffering our society inflicts upon us women.
And you also used medical gauze for the attire. You did not feel like dressing them up nicely and jewelry and all the things that photographers usually do?
Right. So I worked with a really talented fashion designer, and she draped the entire wardrobe on set entirely made of gauze. And this was to symbolize the wrapping of women's wounds that society is so adamant on concealing, instead of crusading against the injustice and stopping these violent crimes at their source. So it's a little symbolic.
It is so beautiful and so metaphorical that your series should actually be a textbook case study. It should be studied in photography schools.
I wanted to continue the series to sort of have it focus more on India. This one sort of covered all ethnicities around the world, but I did not have the money to do that. It would have been great.
So, I was trying to understand, you have 9 women dressed in white. Will, of course, show the pictures later that probably black here and there on their bodies. So what made you think of this minimalistic idea?
I am drawn to minimalism as a way of life, but I wanted the images to be simple. I wanted them to be striking, because when you create a kind of visual impression that stays with you, people tend to remember it more. And then when they remember those images, they automatically think of the cause. So it's like a constant reminder to bring the focus back to the cause again and again.
You have a really strong team that put everything together, the lights and makeup, and I'm sure not many things went into it.
It was a challenge to bring this team together because, like I said, the fact that it took me a year is because I wanted to build an all-women team and crew to sort of execute this because I just thought it would mean more. But the challenges were to find people willing to come on board because I didn't have money to pay my crew, and this was going to be more of a volunteer thing. But it was sad because a lot of them was like, is this like a test shoot? A test shoot is when you basically test wardrobe, makeup, and someone gets something out of it, no one gets paid or gets paid very little. So I was like, yeah, well, technically it is like a test shoot, but it's more than that. It's much bigger than that, and it's something that affects all of our lives every day. So you like, wouldn't you want to be a part of that? And they were like, no, but it'll eat into my commission time. So it was a little heartbreaking, but eventually the people that I did find were super excited to be on board, and they just brought everything together. But yes, it does take a team to pull this off.
So I'm trying to understand what made you choose people you did. How and why did you select those people for light and costume? Where did you find those people?
Well, lighting is my department. Okay. Lighting is my department as a photographer. Lighting is the most important thing. The production and the lighting team that I work with has been my same assistant that I've used for like 18 years now. So I had to bring them on. And then the hair and makeup artists, again, these are people I just found over social media or word of mouth, but I had to have them care for the issues before I brought them on. So that was important to me. The models, I knew I would find them because the expat community is sort of on the rise in Bombay, at least back in the time when I shot this. So I knew I would find them. It's just that how I found them, it went through a lot of different people and social media again to find them.
And this series got picked up really well. It went viral internationally.
Yes. I was really lucky.
Yeah. Go on. How did you get onto the international scale?
I think first it started locally. I think a couple of blogs picked them up, and then a journalist somewhere, I think in Rajasthan or Jaipur, saw my work, and then she sort of forwarded it to The Guardian in the UK, and they contacted me saying, hey, we'd love to publish this. And right after that, I think once it was seen on The Guardian, everyone else came, BBC and all those guys. It was pretty cool, actually. It was good to get validated.
You have those pictures on your screen. Can you share the screen with us?
Yes, I do.
And probably explain those pictures while we see them.
Yeah, I could do that. Share screen. Let's hope this works. Can you see
there it is. I can see that very well.
Okay. You can also see me, or is it just the image?
No, I cannot see. I can just see the picture.
Okay. So should we go through them like one by one? Start with the first one. So this girl was actually also the makeup artist on the shoot. Her name is Sharif.
Really?
Yeah. So she had to play multiple roles. And she was a hairstylist, not the makeup artist. My bad. This one represents the groping, molestation, abuse. It also sort of represents the superficial standards of beauty forced upon women today, which leads to, various surgeries, procedures, creating an unhealthy lifestyle.
It's beautiful.
Then, the next one, this one is quite simple and obvious. It's domestic abuse, which is rampant worldwide. So this is what that represents. This one is the objectification of women. Women are treated like a commodity, a piece of meat that men can do it with as they please. This one is it's basically shielding women from things that would otherwise empower them, or to censor what she may sort of want to see or experience or learn. It's held back from education or knowledge that could potentially open their eyes to a world of possibilities and empowerment.
Beautiful.
Then this one is, of course, again, very obvious. It represents rape, force, marital rape, genital mutilation. And the beauty about these images is each viewer sort of sees his or her own story and experiences in each one of them. We'll get something different from every one of these.
Exactly, that is what I was going to say.
This one is, of course, lack of freedom, whether from education or geography, not free to pursue what she wants, lack of choices. And this one, again, this one's big in India, I think. It means a lot. It represents female infanticide, killing the girl child, and a very popular in North America would be laws against pro-choice for women's reproductive health. This one, she actually played two roles. She's in a couple of them. This is an empowered woman. Usually an empowered woman is a threat to misogynists worldwide. An independent woman demands respect, needs a man less, which threatens, I think, their very existence. Hence, women are held down, held back from progress, education, and work. The more a man keeps a woman dependent on him, the more he can control her. Sexism issues, disparities that lack equal opportunities and equal pay at work, men holding women back from taking their lives and decisions into their own hands. Even educated and established women sort of suffer discrimination at many levels. So this is to show that it just doesn't happen in poor families or third world countries. It affects women literally everywhere.
Absolutely.
This one is, again, curbing independence, freedom of speech and opinions, especially in like professional or even domestic environments. Many times a woman is taken less seriously than a man. Women's opinions are either mocked or discouraged. So this one sort of shows that. And this is all of them
amazing, together. Amazing, Bhargavi.
Thank you.
Amazing. So those 9 pictures, 9 women, I think they depict everything that women worldwide actually go through, irrespective of
not everything,
their nationality and time. It crosses even timelines, I think.
Age and everything, yes.
Okay, one last question before we wrap this up, which is not about this project as such. You know, with editing tools and everything coming up, do you see that as a threat to photographers like you? You actually put in a lot of efforts in lights and other elements of photography. How do you see that?
Well, there's 2 aspects to it. I think when I was a student, I was like, photography, I was a bit of a purist. I was like, no, it's just about the photography and the photograph and the lighting. And I was like, all the FX and the CG and the over-retouching that people do, I mean, that's not photography. But I think as I grew as an artist and photographer, I realized that what I'm trying to say is more important than what I'm trying to achieve. So if you're talking strictly photography, yes, maybe it's a bit of an overkill, the retouching and things. But now I've reached a point where I don't personally use FX and CG in my work, but I don't think it takes away from my work as much. And of course, it's very easy to, you can tell the difference between a real photographer and what you call Instagram photographers today. Like everyone's a photographer after it went digital, and everyone thinks they can do it. And back in the day, I remember people still like, oh, what do you do for a living? I was like, I'm a photographer. And their first reaction would be like, wow, that's so glamorous. Now, I sort of hesitate even telling people that I am one because they're like, oh, what do you do? I'm a photographer. Oh, me too. Which camera do you have? So it's changed, but I think you can still, there's a lot of great real photographers out there. And there's, of course, it's a little overcrowded as well, which makes us hard to stand out, which is why the work that I choose to do, I strive really hard to make it different, to show, you know, the photography bit of it.
What is the next project or next issue or non-issue that you're working on?
I am currently trying to execute a series on the pandemic. on the importance of wearing masks, because I see a lot of educated people out there who refuse to wear one. So that's what I'm doing. And also, I've during the lockdown that happened, I launched a magazine called Spoke, where gray matters, and I created this because I'm obsessed with genius minds, because I don't think I am one, so I want to sort of do that, but also to do the kind of photography that I would enjoy, which is I love portraiture, so I hope to show these celebrities that come on in a different, unique, and creative light.
I think photography or photographers are magicians who just write story through images. And you surely are one such magician. Thanks a lot for talking to us and bringing that magic on screen, probably telling a story every woman wants to. Thank you.
Thank you, Tejasvi, for having me. I appreciate it.